Hey guys, it's Amy at Zoe back, and I'm gonna do my weekly reading update for August 11th, 2019. So this week was a hard week. As I said, it was just a lot of stuff going on. Well, it wasn't until this weekend that was really the family thing. So we did have the memorial for my grandfather yesterday. So, that was all it went really well. It was just really a casual deal, but a lot of my relatives showed up. Some of our family that is kind of extended that we had not seen in years. I mean, I saw some of my mom's cousins that I had not seen in 25 years. It was really weird how they kind of came out of the woodwork for this, but I'm glad that they showed up. It was great to see them again. Very weird. Anyway, because it was one of those things. That's kind of sometimes what happens with weddings and funerals. So anyway, it was really well done. We spent a lot of time with family, so yesterday was mostly a wash for that and very exhausting. And I was kind of worried I was getting sick actually last night, but today I feel pretty good, so we'll see how that goes. And then work was crazy stressful because some people weren't there during the week, and then I kind of had a disagreement with my boss and my two of my bosses anyway, but they want me to move my office to another area, which is not the problem. It's mostly to do with my job that I was like, this doesn't make any sense why you want me to move over there, except that, they wanted the manager to have my office because he wanted an office, and it didn't really have to do with location. He just wanted the office. It didn't matter anyway, so that's a frustration that I will have to deal with in the next few weeks when we do the move. But I'm just trying to make it to my vacation in the first week of September, and then I will be gone from there for over a week, and that'll be great. So, and right now I'm wishing my vacation was now. Anyway, so that's my little update. Sorry, I didn't want to make a whole video on that. So, okay, I'm going to go through all the books that I read this week, the ones I'm in the middle of, and what I think I'm going to read later this week. I actually got through 4 books, and then I have one little graphic novel thing. But that was actually pretty good. I finished most of them up on Friday. It was one of those weeks. Now, I have mentioned this before, is I do not like reading multiple books in the same format at the same time. So usually if I have multiple books going, it's an audiobook, an ebook, and a physical book. And I usually don't have all 3 going. I usually have just 2. And that makes me happy. That makes me, it's not that I get confused, or it's just that I focus better on one book at a time because I give myself all to that book. I put all my time and all my emotions with it. So, but if I'm struggling with books, I find that the first thing that I start to do is I do start picking up other books, and then I have these books left on my currently reading that I started months ago that I've never completed. So this week I had 2 books that I struggled with, and for 2 different reasons. It was actually really funny because the first book was one that I'd already started, and I was enjoying, but I wasn't loving yet. And then I just didn't love it for quite a bit of it. And then it got better in the end, but I did finish that one. And then the other book it was a hard read, and I did not expect it for such a short book. So I will get to that. So again, it was weird, but now I've caught myself back up to where hopefully the only extra book I'm reading is my buddy read, which is, we're doing part of it every week. So that one's kind of currently reading, will be held open, but hopefully I'm starting to knock off some of these currently readings that I've started books and not finished them. So we will see. So the first book I finished was Book Love by Debbie Tong. This is so cute. I saw this on Instagram somewhere on a picture, and again, it's a woman in her obsession with books, and I've seen these online, all her drawings and stuff, and they are really cute, and I would totally buy this book if it was a lot cheaper. So I might keep my eye out for it. It was just really adorable, and it was just it was a really quick read. I just read a few comics here and there. I kind of think she must have she has a website and a Tumblr and stuff like that. So she, I think that's why I see a lot of her stuff online. This book was so cute. And if you're looking for a book for a book lover it's just a cute little book, I do recommend this. It was just really sweet. And I will look for a copy of it because I really liked it. I really identified with a lot of the stuff in here. The only thing is that I don't drink tea. And I know that that's, a lot of people drink tea with their reading. Yeah, no. That is my only problem. I just don't drink tea because a lot of times my stomach doesn't like it. But anyway, so I finished that pretty early in the week. It was just a fun library book I got. And I said I'll probably be looking for it in the future. So, and then as I told you guys, I was going to start my reread of Helter Skelter, the true story of the Manson murders, by Vincent Velagosi and Kurt Gentry. This again is my 4th reading at least. I really can't count. It's been so many years. I read it first time when I was 18. Because I remember reading this it was either my first term of college or the summer before that. I don't remember exactly. It was right in that time. It was after I graduated from high school, and it was like soon after I found out about this, and then it was my first true crime book. And still just mesmerizing. This book is awesome. And I listened to this time on audio. I'd gotten it on sale at one point from Audible. It was narrated by Scott Brick, which is one of my favorite narrators. He did Washington by Ron Chernow. And I think I've listened to one other book of his. But he was a great narrator. I've enjoyed the times I've listened to him. This book is just fascinating. It's one of the cases I've always been fascinated with, with crime, and maybe because it was from a young age that I picked this up. I'm so looking forward to watching the TV series, the mini series that they put out in, was it 70? I don't know, 72? Something like that. I don't know. I have a DVD. I had a really old taped copy of it, and so every once in a while I would watch that back in the day. So now I do have a DVD copy now. So I'm gonna probably rewatch that here pretty soon, because I always usually do after I've reread it or if something reminds me of it. And as the 50th anniversary of these killings was this weekend, I just thought it was great that I picked this up this month. It was something I was going to do anyway. I've been wanting to read it again, and it was so great. I got so much more out of it this time around because there have been a few specials and other interviews from the Manson families. I'm not going to explain what Charles Manson and the murders are. I figure everybody knows that. Sorry. But if you're looking for a true crime book that it just twists and turns, and especially from the early 70s. I mean, again, the murders happened in 69, but all the trial stuff was later. It was amazing. I still love this book, and the audiobook was fantastic. I listened to this because I was having such a bad week at work. I pretty much wore my headphones a lot of the time because I was kind of in protest. Maybe I shouldn't have been. Cat! My kitties are crying in the other room. But I listened to this. I read this in 4 days. Listening to it. Couldn't really, it's a 670 page book. So the audiobook was 20 some hours. It was 24 or something. I don't remember now. It was a lot. And I do listen to at 1.5 speed, but still I listened to this a lot. It was hours every day. I devoured it. And I do every time I read it physically as well. So it was a great reread. I'm so glad this was on my list of things I wanted to reread this year, and I got to it, and I did it during the week where I wanted to do it too, so that was pretty impressive. So I'm so glad I read that, and I totally recommend it if you're looking for a true crime book, because it's insane what those people thought and did, and then all the stuff that happened with the trial and other stuff that was happening. It's the twisty-turny. As I said, it's definitely a book I've read multiple times and will probably read again, not too far in the future again. So, so that was on my audiobook for the first couple of days. And then but reading wise, I had picked up 2 books, but I'm going to show you the book that I read in 2 days because it was the first one I finished of these 3 books, and physical books. And I read Cliff's Edge by Meg Tilly. This is book 2 in the Soulless Island series. I read the first one earlier this month, so last week. I read it last week. Loved it. I had it from the library. I bought a copy of it, and I bought the second book. So this is a pre-look at my August book haul, but I've already read it, so that's pretty good. I love this book. Oh my God. It not enough to say like, oh, it's a 5-star read, but I enjoyed the journey. I loved how fast-paced it was. I liked the characters. Again, they have their own backstories. They have their own issues, but it's a good contemporary suspense is what I'm going to say. It's heavy on romance, but I like that. So I didn't mind that. This one I liked just as much, or maybe a slight more than Soulless Island, but it also has one little point where you have to really suspend your disbelief. And I think that's just this kind of genre. And these do kind of remind me of like updated Mary Stuart's. So I feel like they're just fun rides. They're a little insta-lovey, as I said, but not like insta-lovey as in they act on it, like not, that comes later. But first it's still very much attraction, which is fine with me. I don't have a problem with that, but it's when they get too intimate too fast, I get kind of, I just go, that's not realistic to me. But anyway, I just think these are really good. So there's a 3rd book coming out, I think The Hidden Cove, in October. So I already think I'm going to probably pre-order it. Because these are just so fun. I will definitely, since I bought copies, I already know I'm going to reread these. I knew that as soon as I finished Soulless Island, I was going to reread that one at some point. And this one was just as much fun. This follows her sister from the first book, and this one, has stalker and other weird things. But again, they're not super realistic. I mean, don't take it that way. Just have it fun. These are fun books. Like, I would say these are like fun rides. And as I said, I read this in 2 days, and it's like 320 pages. I mean, I flew through. These chapters are short. They're quick. You dive in and it's just fun. Anyway, so I love these. Definitely new favorites. I'm definitely collecting there's this series at least, and I can't wait for October. Even though I'll be getting it during Victober, I have this bad feeling that doesn't matter. I'm probably going to read the book anyway, but it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I really enjoyed these. So again, this is book number 2, and I enjoyed them. So the next one is my first book this month for Women in Translation. This actually is a woman in translation, and also the translator is female. So I thought that was pretty good. So the first one was the one that I said in my TBR I was probably going to pick up first, and that is Territory of Light by Yuko Tsushima. I couldn't remember her name. I did my video, but anyway, this I've heard a lot about from like Shawn the Book Maniac, and then I just interacted with Joe Smith, and we talked about that as well, and in the comments and stuff. So I knew other people had read this, and so it was on my list. I bought it, and it was really short. It's like 121 pages or 122. It's not very long. It's super short, but this was so hard to read straight through. I had to break it up. So this was written in a magazine in the late 70s, I think 78 and 79. In Japan, sorry. So the translation is by Geraldine Harcourt, and 1978 to 79, and it follows a woman who is separating from her husband. It's not her choice to separate completely; it's mostly on his side, and they have a almost 3-year-old daughter at the time, and it's talking about her getting an apartment and then her dealing with life, working, as well as, the child going to daycare and stuff during this period, and trying to make it on her own. And it's her journey is, it was so believable, and yet you're so mad at her sometimes of the decisions she makes, but that's possible, or a lot of single parents probably went through that stuff, and it's just, some of it was hard to take. And again, coming from someone who is not a parent, I mean, I don't consider my a parent because I have cats. Anyway, it was really eye-opening in certain things that I could totally believe that that's something that person would go through at that time. It's broken up into like 12, I think it's 12 chapters. So I think it ran for like a year in the magazine, like a section every time. So the sections are about, oh, they're not very long. They're like 10 or 12 pages each. Some of them are 9, no, like 9 to 12 or something. So they're really short sections, but they are hard hitting, gorgeous writing. I mean, the imagery in here was just phenomenal. I mean, and setting, and there's so much going for this. It was just so hard for me to read more than a couple pages at a time. If I got through a whole section without setting the book down, that was amazing, because it was just so compact with emotion and with description. I really enjoyed this, and yet it was a really, really hard read. So I can't say I love it, because it was, I was not able to immerse myself enough for that to be a top book. But I highly recommend this for a translation novel. I'm in translation. Again, it's a woman. It has also, it's translated by a woman. I am so glad I read this. I will definitely be picking up another book by her. I think, yeah, it's just, it was just, I think she has passed away in 2016, but there are several books, other books that she wrote. I don't have the list now. I know I saw one on, I think, Shawn the Book Maniac, Child of Fortune or something like that. I'm not quite sure, but I'm going to start looking to see what else she has. Because again, it was such a good read, and yet it was a hard read. Like, it was one I had to really focus on. And as I said, it took me all week just to read 120 pages, because I could not read it for too long at one time. And I think the chapters, which are the, again, are kind of like episodes, and they kind of, you can tell that that it was written like in magazine form to start and end, kind of wrapping up a theme in each one. So well done, though. I think it was really well done, and it does come off as a novel, even if it's kind of episodic like that. I can't rave about this enough, and also say that it was so hard to read. But I'm glad I read that, and I will definitely read more, as I said. And then the last book I finished, was A Week to Be Wicked by Tessa Dare. This is book 2 in the Spindle Cove series. I am trying to catch up, read through this series. This is like early 1800s, kind of Regency. And maybe not, well, something like, yeah, it's close to that. Anyway, but yeah, I guess it would be. So this is the second book, is like an area where a lot of spinsters, where people go, and the two main characters is, one is kind of the smart daughter of a woman who's trying to get her older daughter, who's very, very pretty, to get her married to Viscount, or his Lord Payne, who is a pain. Anyway, he's kind of a rake. Anyway, so I had explained this last week, and I did not enjoy this as much as a lot of people do. A lot of people say this is one of their favorite books in that series, and that kind of worries me. But I also know why I reacted badly to this. So in a lot of ways it was funny. I mean, her humor is just great. The things they get into, the messes, were all really funny. Some of them were definitely of their own making, but some things were out of their control, but most of it was, you could because they said something or other. So my problem is Colin, Lord Payne, has a tendency to, when he's doing, I don't know, he was doing a lot of lying, and not like lying to her, to the girl, not too much. I mean, there was some of that too, but not really. It's mostly he would tell like outrageous tales to people they didn't know, just to kind of pass the time. I don't know. So anyway, so the thing is that Minerva, which is the main female character, she wants to go to Scotland because she's discovered this footprint of a dinosaur, and she wants to give this talk. And even though she's a female, and they don't know she's a female, because she joined with her initials and not her name. They, yeah, that's my cats. She needs to get to Scotland. So she kind of blackmails, kind of gets Colin, who is Lord Payne, to take her. And so she has this whole elaborate plan that they're faking the elopement. She doesn't care about being ruined. She doesn't care about any of that. She just wants to go do this talk. And of course, he's reluctant to take her, but then he kind of feels he has to because she's on her own, so blah, blah. Anyway, and again, I think chemistry-wise, everything was good, and their backstories and their reasons for doing things, it was just, I had trouble connecting because there was so much lying and ridiculousness to that, and it just was not my favorite. It just did not click for me. I really like Minerva, and I like Colin overall, especially by the end. I did. By the time I had to get pretty far into it and get past a couple things that I was just like, oh God, no. I made it through. So this is not my favorite of Tessa Dare's, but this does not mean I will not read the next one. I think the next one is A Night to Surrender is number 3. So I will probably pick it up pretty, the next couple months maybe. Who knows? I don't know, but just not right away probably. But I seem like I'm the minority. A lot of people love this book, and I was expecting to love this book, and it just didn't work for me. So, oh well. So, then I'm just gonna, sorry, that I am really talking. It's been one of those days, sorry. So, I'm just gonna go through really quick the books I'm in the middle of. Calculating Stars by Mary Robinette Kowal. I did get another 40 pages done. So I have still 2.5 hours of the audiobook. I still have, so what does that make? I have 90 pages left of this. I am going to try to finish this. Now that I finished the Helter Skelter audiobook, I did pick this up and read a little bit on Friday at work. I'm almost positive if I continue on with this series and read this Fated Sky, I am physically reading it. I do not think I can do this again audiobook wise. I think I had trouble with audiobooks of books that I've never, fiction books that I've never read before. I just think it's harder for me to connect with or keep with. So I still love this. I still think the audiobook is awesome if you like it. Can do audiobooks in that way, but I think once I finish this one, I probably am not going to buy the other one. So I'll probably just read the book that I have. So, but I really am enjoying this overall for the story and the plot and all the stuff with it. As I said, alternate 50s, asteroid hits, and then the space program is on full board trying to get everybody off the planet. So anyway, I'm hoping to finish that this week. I've been reading that book like for 5 months. I want to get it done before September, so I'm going to do it this week. So I'm also continuing with Let the Great World Spin by Colin McCann. I'm doing a buddy read with Joe Smith on this. We did the first part so far, and so far I have no idea what this book is trying to tell us. The first part was not what I expected. I mean, okay, this is New York, and I'm pretty sure McCann is Irish, I believe. But it starts in Dublin then. It had a great prologue, and then it went to Ireland and has to do with these two brothers and they're growing up, and the way, and one brother is one way and the other one just kind of watching him doing like, what are you doing? And it's hard to explain. Anyway, I don't want to give away too much on this one because I don't know where it's going. But we're enjoying it so far. At least we're interested to know what happens next. I think our next section for this coming week, I need to read about, I think it was like 90 pages. Yeah, I think it was like that. Something like that. And so I'm probably going to start that today because I just finished all those other books. So I'm probably going to read my pages today and tomorrow. If I don't finish it today, we'll see how I feel. But I am interested still in this. I want to know what happens. So we will continue on with that. And then after that, I have 3 options of what I'm going to pick up next. And they're all 3 different kind of things. So it's kind of, so I got one, which is Agatha Christie book called Death Comes as the End, which is her Egyptian detective novel. So murder mystery in ancient Egypt. And I think Egypt. Yeah, I said that right. Sorry. So some guy, I guess, he brings in a new concubine and his whole family doesn't like her. And she's trying to manipulate things in her way, and then suddenly she's dead. So anyway, I don't know anything beyond that. But it would work for reading through the ages, and I guess it's, is it Agatha August or something? I don't know. I've seen something where a lot of people are reading Agatha Christie this month. And I've not read Agatha Christie in a long time. I mean, I read almost all her books when I was a preteen. So I picked him up a couple along the way later in my life, but not a whole lot. So, but this is one I never owned or even knew about until I saw somebody read it or mentioned it. So I got it from the library. So I want to kind of pick that up because it's a library book. And then I have another pick for my Romance Summer Bingo, which is Rules for a Proper Governess by Jennifer Ashley. This is part of the Mackenzie series. And so this is like 1885. And what it's a barrister or lawyer. His wife had passed away when his kids were very young, and so they need a governess, and they are like hellions. So he has a girl and a boy, and they are just into everything, and he keeps losing governesses, and then he meets someone who pickpockets him, and then somehow it all twists around where she becomes the governess, and then of course there'll be a love thing. Anyway, but the point is, it's just funny. Anyway, I'm way behind on this series. I don't even know what number this is. But this like came out, oh gosh, came out like I've had this on my shelf since 2014. Yeah, I'm behind. So I'm trying to pick up some more series. This is one of the romance ones. We'll see if I feel like it because I did just read the Regency one, romance. But I don't know. It's definitely one I want to pick up because I'm behind on this series and I'd like to continue it and get farther. And then the Women in Translation one, I believe this better be translated or else I'm going to freak out, is Please Look After Mom by Kyun Suk Shin. This was translated from the Korean by Chi Young Kim, which I don't know if the translator is female or not. But anyway, this is my next Women in Translation book. I've been looking forward to reading this for quite a while. It took me a long time to buy it because I kept hoping to find it used and I never did. So I finally just bought it. Anyway, so I'm hoping to pick this up. I've heard interesting things about this. I know it's about a mom who goes to the railway station, I think with her family, and then she just disappears. And then this is their story of the aftermath. So I'm not sure what happens. I have been wanting to read this for a while, so I just thought that'll be the next one I pick up. But I don't know which ones of those I will pick up, and I could change my mind. Clearly, since I just pick, when I get into certain moods, I just start, as I said, I try to mood read a lot in certain things, but I gave myself options. So anyway, so this is a long wrap up, or, weekly update, but I had a lot to say. I did, read a lot of books. Well, I mean, as I said, they weren't that long, but it was a weird week. And as I said, it was hard on me for work-wise and emotional-wise for family things this weekend. So this next week, I'm hoping to just make it through. Work will probably be still annoying, but, I might be able to listen to audio. Like, oh, I didn't put it up here. Once I finish the Calculating Stars, which I have 2.5 hours, I'm going to restart listening to the Witchwood Crown for now. I am still trying to do that reread. I still want to do that. So I will restart where I was at. I was about 170 pages in of 700. So I'm only, that's less than a third. I don't know. Or I'm not very far into it. I still have like 30 hours on the audiobook. It'll take a while. Anyway. So that's it. What are you guys reading this week? Are you guys picking up stuff for Romance Summer Book Bingo? I never say that right in a row. Or are you guys doing Women in Translation? Anything good? What are you guys doing? How are you guys doing? And I do want to thank you all for who did message me or send comments for condolences, and so I really appreciate that, and thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Bye.